There we go. Welcome to the stream. This is Sen from EistenGaming. I have run a bit late as last time, so let's do a quick start. Let's get going. We continue our journey in Astellia, the endgame. We will start the evening with the 2-minute loading screen. Sorry for that, I kind of missed it. I had a chat with a friend and we ran a bit late, I had a few beers, so I hope you will forgive me on that. I hope I get the kill when I just joined them. Do I need to be in the group? I don't know. Oh cool, they invited me, that's brilliant. That's nice ones, that's really cool. They're an expedition as it seems. Very cool. This is how it should go. This is really cool. My first group experience. Very cool. Okay, boss time. Let's see what the mechanics really do here. As usual, it's always my job to keep all the debuff stacks up, like bleeding, poisoned, and whatever I can do to do damage over time, as well as burst damage.
Yeah, this place is really a dump. There's love, power, and even life on sale here. Everything can be done with money. And that is why you need somebody that can manage the dump, right? And that person happens to be me.
I like this guy. So that you know, this is the expert version of the what's it called? Black market? It's not the standard, it's the expert version. So so far the difficulty is a bit higher, especially with the bosses, but it's not dramatic. So from the standard to the expert version, hey, where are you going? Okay, mechanics happening. This is actually new. That's kind of cool. They have additional... Interesting. They have new mechanics from the standard to the expert difficulty. They didn't do this in the standard version, so that's kind of cool. This is something positive. I kind of like how the game tries to bring more spice into the fights by adding a bit of salt in the soup. Let's say. Okay, this was not really a challenge. Come on. Can we continue? Oh, thanks. Now we can finally kill you. Or do you have another trick up your sleeve? How's it going, mate? I have been able to do a bit of leveling. As you see, I have 1.4 million experience points, which means that I can upgrade my first star, or upgrade to my first star. So as you see, the class evolution, I have chosen Avenger. This is endgame character specialization. Now, as you know, in the endgame, you have 5 stars, and each star unlocks a new special endgame ability. So having these 5 stars gives you 5 different skills that you can unlock. With each star, 1 skill. Now, the thing is that for the first star, I needed 1.3 million, which you can see here. I've got 1.4, so let's actually unlock it. Let's see what happens. Yes, I wanna consumes XP, yes. Bam. Alright, so I assume that was it already. And I have the first star, looky here. Nice. But let's actually make sure that we have the new skill in the attack rotation. So let's see, Point Break is the name. It uses edges, which is kind of a currency you build up during combat, and you can release it to do more damage with the attack. Now, since it's an edge consumer, we need to make sure that we put it after the edge creator skills. Put this skill here. So now we have it in the correct rotation. We will generate edges, and then we'll use the edges with this new Avenger ability. And you also see the nice frame around it. This signifies that it's a kind of a high power endgame ability. 1.8 million for the next star. So they're increasing the number of XP, the amount of XP required for each star from 1.3 to 1.8. This means roughly 40-45 minutes more gameplay until compared to the first star, until we get another star. This is quite a lot. So it could be a tiny bit grindy to level up these things. Now let's actually do a Colosseum. Okay, this is the Colosseum. This is kind of a game mode where monsters stream at you, trying to damage this thing. And you have to keep this thing safe, as high as possible on the HP side. And there are 5 waves, and each wave has kind of 5 groups or 6 groups of monsters which swarm at you, and they get more and more difficult over time, and there's more of them. Oh, they're from the other side. I missed them. That's not a good start. So the first group is really easy. The next will be harder, and so on. So at 5. At wave 5 it's going to be really difficult. Okay, they should be almost done. And I think this is the end boss. I think this is the last one. Yeah, clear time. This is super. This is perfect. That's the best we can do. As I promised off last time, I tried a bit of
Flying dagger.
group dungeon content off stream. Emphasis on tried. Trying for 2.5 hours, I was not able to get one group. The day after, another 2 hours of waiting, I was able to get a group. And after the first wipe, we had the rage quit of the tank, and the whole thing was dead again. So yeah. I did a few Colosseum runs, actually this afternoon, and they were quite funny. It is kind of a nice idea to do this as a bit of a, let's say, a difference to the usual grind. And boy, it is a grind. I can really safely say that the end game here in Astellia is a grind. It gets worse and worse. So as I mentioned, you need 1.3 million to do the first star, 1.8 billion XP to do the second star, and so on and so forth. So I would assume that up to the 5th star, you will probably need 3.5-4 million XP or something to really get this done. The grind is there, and you really see that when you do quests in the game, when you do the daily quests or the weekly quests. They will tell you, well, kill a few monsters, and by a few I mean 100. So of course you can push this to several days if it's a weekly, but still I don't have time to play every day this game. But it is grindy, and also the quests which give you an advantage at the end game, for example, they give you Estelle cards and stuff like that. They're also extremely grindy. For example, they want you to do kill 90 monsters, for example, 3 of each type, 30 of 3 different types. That's the correct one. So yeah, it is grindy, and to be quite honest, grindiness on that level is, even though the combat is good, is boring. And I have to say, now I start to understand why people have issues with the end game in this MMO. I was trying to keep it open until I experience it myself, but since I'm experiencing it now, how the end game is like, it's not diverse enough. It's becoming boring. So yeah, it's kind of I'm sorry to have this verdict, but it is like that. Now you have other things you can do. You can do the dungeon, I mentioned that. You can do Avalon. That's probably the 300 versus 300 or something. Huge numbers. I've really read some crazy numbers that should be able to go here. This is PvP, and this is PvP for smaller groups, for I think 1v1 or small parties. But since I'm not a PvP guy, I'm kind of not trying this. I'm not good at that, and also I don't enjoy it. So yeah, that's the stuff you can do. You have the quests, you have the dailies that you can do. You have the weeklies, and that's about it. And so I think the most fun I had in the game was actually leveling up. This was brilliant. The story was really nice. I loved the gameplay, the story, the cinematics, getting all the Estelles. And it is likely that I'm actually going to start a new character on stream. That was my half-hour rant about the end game in this game. As you can tell, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the end game.